Mike, 82. 82.
And then if your seat and everything's all set into drive, we'll slowly be pulling forward.
Josh, please. Josh?
And then that gap right there, if you hold that gap, so he's building a little bit of speed, we'll build a little bit of speed as well. Nobody else on the front straightaway. Now he's going to stop, so that's going to ruin our gap.
You want me to paddle shift, or?
No, you don't have to. I'll do some of the shifting. That way it's a little less for you to think about. It'll still hold the gears in the corner. And we'll go ahead and start squeezing on some power and start building speed up the hill. Stay to the left. There you go. And brake. Look at the apex. Now bending in. Back to a little bit of throttle, squeezing on some power. Start looking for that apex on the right. Bending down, getting closer and closer, a little bit more angle. There you go. On the power. As you go underneath this bridge, trailing out of the throttle, bending to the left, get all the way to the edge of the road. And then bending to the right, it'll get a little tighter right here. There you go. And then back to some power, squeezing on the throttle on the exit. You'll let the car bow out a little bit to the side, and then bending back in, getting tighter, 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 tighter to hug that right side, compromising the exit so that we're set up for the left-hander. Bending in. Look up the hill. Do a little slower hand movement as you turn into the corners. It'll give you a better angle past the apex. So coming up, there's a gate. At that gate, you slowly bend to the left. There you go, nice and slow. And then you got a good angle past the apex. Nice even curve all the way through there. Still on the power up here to the brake zone at the 3 marker and brake. And we'll slow down, brake, 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 a little bit more, bend it in, trailing off the brakes, back to a little bit of power, and then squeeze it onto full throttle as you get your hands straight. Start trailing back the throttle because they're going a little slower than us. And we'll just let it coast. And we'll let it coast down to about the 4 marker, depending on what they do. Maybe down to the 3. So here's the 5, the 4, and then a good stiff brake, and 3 right there. Brake harder, harder, harder. Bend it in. Just tick wide of the apex because we didn't brake hard right at the beginning. Squeezing on the power, we're going to catch up to the 0-2 little by little. Good stiff brake here, look into the corner, bend it in, trailing off, back to a little bit of throttle, squeezing it off. Try not to watch where the car goes in front of you, watch your reference cones, looking at the apex, turn it in. On the power, letting the car track out to that track out cone, squeezing on the power, accelerating off the corner. Bending it in nice and slow with the hands. Looking for that first apex right there. Just easing on a little bit of power. And then now trailing off the throttle, getting the car straight and brake. You want to point the car straight at the corner, turn-in gate, and brake straight towards it. So not hustling over and then turning and braking. Just pointed at it, braking a straight line diagonally across the road. And we can get closer and closer to them, and then when we get close enough, they'll let us pass them. Squeezing on the power, accelerating up the front straightaway. And lift off the throttle, let it coast, and hard brake right there, harder. There you go. Look into the corner, find that apex, trailing off of the brakes. Patient with the throttle, now squeezing on the throttle on the exit. Look into the apex, find that cone nice and early. Smooth bend in to get to the apex, squeezing on the power, leaving the corner. And lifting out of the throttle, bending in. A little bit of brake right here, bending to the right, back to the left, back to power. And a little brush to the brake as we start start to tighten it up, and then a little goose of the throttle here. Look up the hill. Wait until you get to that gate before you start turning into the corner. And I got in a little early. Look up the hill, find that apex. Squeezing on the power on the exit. And brake. A little harder, look into the corner. Bend it in, trailing off of the brakes. Back to a little bit of power, squeezing on the throttle on the exit. And then lift, just let it coast, no brake. Still no brake. Down to about the 4 marker, use the 5 and hard brake. Yeah, there you go. Look into the corner. We're going to start our cool off now. So limit your speed to about 45 or 50, and then just a little brake for this corner, and then we will not brake for the rest of the track. We'll just use the engine and transmission to limit our speed and to drag it down with the compression of the engine. Trail off the throttle and let it coast. Look into the corner, find that apex, turn the wheel, tracking out to the right side. Up to 50 miles an hour. Let it coast. Get to this gate, look in at the apex, bend it in, get all the way down to the apex, and then just hug the left side of the road into pit lane. Trail off the throttle and let it coast. Down to about 25 or 30 miles an hour, we can carry that into pit lane. Just like that car there, we're going to go through the yellow gate of cones, tall yellow cones. We'll pull right up behind the 02. A little closer, and stop. And then into park, off the brake pedal, we'll hop on